If there's one thread that links old motorcycles together, it's a rusty gas tank. And while removing the rust is a good temporary solution, a permanent solution is to line it with a tank liner. And the key to a tank liner working is surface preparation. In this video, I'm going to be using POR-15 tank liner, but I've also used Kreem tank liner with this exact same method very successfully. I'm Alex Grieve, and this is Higher Voltage. Okay, so most tank liners actually come with a kit that works pretty well so long as you follow the instructions accurately. However, I find this method works even better. So in addition to our tank liner, we're going to need a few things. First thing we're going to need is phosphoric acid. Now, I know a lot of people like muriatic acid, but muriatic acid will cause flash rusting inside the tank, and it will the rust behind a tank liner will actually push the liner out and cause it to fail. Phosphoric acid leaves a phosphate coating inside the tank, which is like a tarry substance that not only allows any other moisture to react and become that tarry substance, but also gives a nice surface for the tank liner to stick. You're also going to need two alcohols. Isopropyl alcohol is used to mix with the gas that was previously in the tank, allowing it to then mix with water and your phosphoric acid so it can be flushed out of the tank. And the last alcohol we're going to use is denatured alcohol. And denatured alcohol mixes well with phosphoric acid in a way to thin it out without adding extra moisture to the tank. And finally, we're going to need this, a bath towel ripped along its length, so it's half the width of a regular bath towel. So, with that, let's get to etching this tank. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do after removing your petcock valves and hoses is simply fill up the gas tank with water. And I'm just using my garden hose. And that's going to get the majority of the gasoline out. Just take it, shake it up like this, and you've got a nice big port on the back. It drains pretty quickly. Okay, we know one thing, gas and water don't mix. And while that was fine to flush out the residual gas, there's still some stuck to the side of the tank. And that's what the isopropyl alcohol is for. About a quarter of a bottle of 91% isopropyl seems to be about the right mixture. So once you flush the tank out pretty well, just add about a quarter of a bottle of your isopropyl. So now that we got the majority of the water out of our tank by turning it upside down and shaking, leaving it in one orientation to try to drain out of the holes, we're going to have to plug up these fuel lines. This is actually an air vent line, and this is the fuel line. Now, for most bikes that aren't a Honda Magna, this is much smaller, and the best way to clog it is to round down a dowel rod on a belt sander or just by hand and pound into the hole. Well, this is a little bit too big for that. So what I'm going to use is a sandwich bag and a rubber band. So simply take a sandwich bag, fold it over the hole, then take a rubber band and secure it in place good and tight. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly tight, but it's got to be tight enough that you're not dealing with a large volume of water, or in this case acid, draining out. When a sharpened dowel isn't available, there is another method to clog up ports, and that's to use a hose that would fit that and a shoulder bolt. And that's the key, is this shoulder. That is the not threaded part. You just push the bolt all the way in your hose like this, and then tighten it down to prevent a leak, and go ahead and slide it on. Okay, so some of you may not have the tube type that's easy to plug. You might have two bolt holes in a slot. And to plug that takes a little bit more work. I find that using a piece of scrap plastic and then simply drilling two holes in it works great. Now, of course, 1/4-inch plywood is pretty good. And then just take some kind of gasket former or gasket sealer and just squirt it on the area here between the two bolts. You don't need a whole lot, but it does need to build up just a little bit to make sure that you have a seal. And then just go ahead and put it over the holes and tighten it up like finger tight, maybe a touch more. Okay, now it's time to add the acid. I highly recommend using gloves for this. And you know it's bad if I'm using gloves. Also, if you want to protect your tank, cover it with soapy water and let it dry out in the sun, and that soap layer will keep the paint from being damaged by the acid. Now, I intend to repaint this gas tank because, yeah, I'm not going to ride around with that dent. So, I'm not too worried about the paint. So, how much do you put in? Estimate about a pint or so of raw acid. Now there's still some water in the tank, so this acid will react with that water and thin it out. Now, depending on how much you trust your seal, if you've got a good seal, you can go ahead and fill this tank all the way up with water. However, if you don't trust that seal, just do what I'm doing here and just work it around and make sure the acid coats all the surfaces. Okay, now when etching your tank, it's important to make sure you get all of the walls of the tank. This includes the top, because if the liner has any hole in it, it's likely to not stick so well. You want it to envelop all of the inside of the tank. So you're going to want to roll it around like this. And you want to do it about every 10 to 15 minutes for around an hour to an hour and a half. And what you're going to see is that the inside of the tank, and I'm not sure how well this is going to show, but the inside of the tank will start to turn gray. So when you get this gray, like around this outer part, that's the phosphate coating, and that is etched into the tank. Okay, now once you're sure you got all the rust out of the tank, it's time to release the acid. And like I said, you can reuse this acid several times, so just go ahead and pour it back into your phosphoric acid container here, like so. And you want to try to get as much out of there as you can, so make sure you go ahead and shake the tank around a little bit. If you hear moisture in it, again, try flipping upside down. You want to get as much of this acid out as you possibly can, because the next thing we're going to put in is denatured alcohol. Okay, so once the majority of the acid is out, there's a little bit of acid in there. I can still hear it running around. I'm going to chase it now with denatured alcohol. And I'm going to add, somewhere around a quart or so to this gas tank. And what the denatured alcohol does is it chases the water out, because acid is effectively in water. And what I want to do is get as much moisture in this tank out as possible. The other reason I'm not rinsing it with water first is because I want some phosphoric acid still in here when I put the tank liner, so that any moisture immediately gets converted to that iron phosphate coating and gives the tank liner something to adhere. So we're just going to rinse this around a little bit, like that. Just trying to get as much of that surface coated, try to get all the acid out, and then, well, I'm just going to dump it here in my yard. For a little added insurance, I'm going to do the denatured alcohol chase a second time, just to be sure I get a little bit of a little more water out of there. I want the least amount of water in my tank possible before I move on to the next step. So this time I'm adding about a pint or so, and repeating the same process, just shaking it up. No matter what you do, you're going to end up with some moisture still left in the tank that has to be removed. And that's what our long thin towel is for. Just wad it up and go ahead and push it through the neck of the tank, and then try to work it to one side or the other. In this case, I'm going to work it to the side closest to me. And you really just want to be sure that the tail of that goes into a place that's easy to access. Let's go ahead and stuff this in here. Okay, with your towel stuffed in there, you want a little bit of a tail remaining so you can pull it out. Then you want to just take the tank and lean it to the side that you push the other end of the towel to. The other end of the towel somewhere in this side of the tank. So what I'm going to do is just turn the tank like this and kind of move it around a little bit and try to get as much of the moisture, much of that remaining acid and alcohol onto the tank as possible. So the best way to do this is just to lean it up against a wall or up against a post like this, so that all the moisture kind of runs down towards the towel. And in about 5 or 10 minutes, the majority of the moisture will be out of this tank. So I've got a post right here. I'm just going to set it up here against the post. Okay, now before we put our tank liner in, we're going to have to reinstall our seal here. So the tank liner doesn't immediately run out, and as you can see, a sawhorse makes a really, really good tank mount, especially when the bike's using as a mount isn't available here. Although, as you can see, this one wants to slide away from me because I'm doing this on a hill. Okay, with my seal reinstalled, hopefully this will absorb almost all the moisture in the tank. Let's pull the towel out, see what she looks like. Yeah, that's pretty good. The tank isn't perfectly dry, but it's for the most part dry. So, all right, we've got about 15 minutes before 15 minutes of error margin here where we can let it sit before it starts to flash rust. So let's get our liner and line the tank. Okay, so before you put your tank liner in, be sure you stir it thoroughly. POR-15 especially, it gets a lot of solid hard debris on the bottom that needs to be brought up to the top. So you want to keep stirring it until you're sure that all of the hard stuff and all of the thick stuff is brought from the bottom and it's uniform throughout. So looks like I've been stirring this for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it seems like you know, don't really have too many hard chunks in there, so I guess it's time to dump it in the tank. Now I recommend dumping the whole thing in. A pint of tank sealer is more than enough to do this gas tank. In fact, it's probably enough to do it twice. So once I coat everything, I'm going to put the remnants back in there. So, all right, now coating it is pretty simple. Just move the tank around in a bunch of different orientations just to make sure that entire inner lining is covered. You want every possible surface covered. Do not forget to get the top of the tank. So you're seeing I'm making sure to turn it over and get the top of the tank. Also, don't forget to get this area up here, the fill nozzle. That needs to be coated as well. And you'll get some that drips down onto it, but you might have to reach a gloved finger in there, get a little bit of that tank liner, you know, like this, and then bring it up to your rim and throw it on in there like that. Just make sure every surface inside that tank is covered. Any pinhole or puncture is going to reduce the integrity of the tank liner, because any rust is going to get in there and push outward. You can see I'm wearing gloves. I'm getting this all over myself. Again, if I want to protect the tank, I can just coat it in basically dish soap and let it dry, and then none of this will affect the tank. But yeah, I'm obviously going to repaint it after this is done, so I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so once you're done coating all surfaces, leave the gas tank something like this on its side so all of the remaining liner pulls to a corner. With POR-15, you really want a very thin coat. You don't want a thick one. Thick coats are bad because what will actually happen is gases will be released in the POR-15. They won't be able to go anywhere, and they'll cause it to bubble up and not get a good coat. If you want a thick coating with POR-15, the best way I find to do it is simply do it twice. Now with Kreem tank liner, yes, you can leave it in there and then just keep moving it from different orientation to orientation, but I find this method works better with Kreem as well because it tends to dry faster and better. Okay, that's been about 10 minutes in the corner, so now it's time to drain this back into our can. Again, an excessive amount of POR-15 is a bad thing and a fuel tank, so as you can see, it's already eaten its way through my seal here, so trying not to destroy my grass too badly. There we go. And you're going to want to get as much of this out of the tank as possible. Again, you do not want it to pool. For a motorcycle tank, you're going to end up with about half of that can filled up. So only about half of that can goes into this tank. Yeah, that's about it. That's coated the inside. Now there's still some pooling up. So what you want to do now that you've drained about half of it out, so you've only got about half a can in your tank, just again, try to continue moving it. Now every, I don't know, 10 or so minutes, put the gas tank in a different orientation. Say like this for a couple minutes, and then come back, move it around a little bit, then put it like this, and then come back in 5 or 10 minutes, and then put it like this until the liner is obviously hard and tacky. And then at that point, let it dry 24 hours, and you're good to go. Okay, it's been about an hour or so, and I've been rotating this tank every 5 minutes or so to coat the other sides, and then again leaving it in a different orientation. First like this, then like this, then upside down, then on the side, then on this side, and so forth. Coming out and rotating every 5 minutes. It looks like my tank liner is almost fully cured, so now on to fixing that dent. But that is how you properly line a motorcycle gas tank. I'm Alex Grieve, and this is Higher Voltage.